Joining me again is Bob Kudla from TradeWithLionel.com. TradeWithLionel.com. Bob, bring us up to date. What is exciting in the world of investment, and how can people make loads and gobs of money with you and us?
Yeah, so we are in what's called a seasonal period of strength for natural gas and for oil, and a seasonally weak period for the stock market. And so we have a situation now, as you can see. You just have to go check out the markets today. Stock market's been down last couple days. It's probably going to continue to fall for probably another 2 to 4 weeks. And energy names are going to start moving higher, and they started as well. And what we do at Trade Genius, obviously, we position our clients into these seasonal bets, and we're now making bank on those trades. So what we have here is, a set of algorithms that help people trade, but also we have all the seasonality that looks back at historically to know what time of the year is best to be in certain sectors. And so we went ahead and positioned ourselves to be long in energy, to be long in natural gas, and to be short the stock market. And that's paying us in spades right now this week.
And also, Bob, this goes to show you the usual pattern that you have is no matter what happens, news, elections, Biden, Trump, doesn't matter. You will position yourself to be most advantageous depending upon the particular shifts and changes. And that's what I love about you, among many things. But I love the fact that there's no such thing as good news or bad news. It's adaptation.
Yeah, look, there's always a bull market somewhere, and the market has a rhythm, to itself. So you just follow the rhythm. You have to avoid the news, because the news will always get you goofy footed. And so a lot of times what happens, like with natural gas, we were telling our subscribers, saying, hey, look, they're going to probably try to push this down, and they do what's called making a new low. We call it a peekaboo, price action, where they push it to a new low, and we call it scaring the children. So everybody bails out, but that's the move that they use because they want to buy it cheap. And so we were telling people in this area here is we're going to get buy signals from our algorithm, and they hit. And then overnight last night, CEO of Chesapeake Energy said, hey, we're cutting CapEx, we're cutting production. Another CEO, I forget the name on top of my head, natural gas company, said Biden administration keeps screwing us around. They're not giving us consistent regulatory guidance, and you're going to force us into cutting production. And so remember, when these guys cut production, they're shorting this trade so much, the institutions and the speculators, that the price is going to kaboom, and they're going to make more money by actually doing less work, because they're going to drive the prices higher because of it. And we saw that today in spades. But there's going to be probably a 4 to 6 week follow through on that, Lionel.
Now, if somebody wants to be a part of this, let's make sure we understand and they understand. If somebody listening right now very, very wisely says, I like this guy, I like what he's saying, I like exactly what is happening, what does someone do to come on board, Bob, and to join those with, again, Trade with Lionel? What does one do?
Well, I mean, you simply hit the landing page that you set up here, and it'll take you over to Trade Genius, and you get to pick either a simple package or a more advanced package that's heavily discounted for you, for your subscribers, Lionel. So, and once you join, you immediately get access. We put trades out every day for people, but more importantly, we teach you how to trade, so that you can trade things that we don't trade. You can use our algorithm as long as you're a subscriber of ours. Get access to the chat rooms, and where you can ask us pretty much any trading question that you like. And you, like I said, you get access to the algorithms too. So it's a good system. We'll teach you to fish. We'll put you in the right lake, and we'll throw you some fish at the same time.
You mentioned something before, just now, which I think is so interesting, and I think this might shock somebody. And you've said it before consistently. You said, don't listen to TV. And whatever you do, don't listen to people, especially on financial shows. Explain a little bit more of that, because shouldn't there be a law against this if you're deliberately sending in people to the wrong, put it this way, in the wrong direction, when you're ostensibly acting as a news journalist for finance? Shouldn't that be subject to some type of conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, look, it's probably a gray area because people can claim their First Amendment rights to speak in their opinion, right? So, I mean, there's certain things you probably get caught for fraud or conflict of interest, but
Mhm.
we have to realize, like right now, I'm trying to sell Trade Genius to whoever's listening here right now. So I have an interest for you people to be interested in me. So when guys come on CNBC, when they're out talking to you, they're selling something to you. If they're telling you that, hey, you need to buy this stock, well, they want you to
Mhm.
buy this stock because they already own the stock and they want it to go higher, or it hit their target and they want to sell the stock. It works in reverse. Oh, you want to stay away from this sector. It sucks, blah, blah, blah. Well, probably because they're not in it yet and they want it to go lower. So they're always, whatever you always have to take a grain of salt. I mean, with anything, you have to be a Berean, right? So you need to do your homework, do your due diligence. I don't expect you just to believe what I'm saying. Go to our website, check out our track record, check out our attaboys, and I expect you to do the same thing when Goldman Sachs, especially, they're the worst. I mean, they say, oh, oil's going to 200, then oil drops down to a negative $58, right? So, but nobody's going to touch those guys, because they're too well connected. But that's what the news does to you. It gets you all weird. I mean, look what happens in politics, right? They're pushing you. They're pushing narratives. They're not pushing facts.
Right.
You go onto Twitter or anywhere else, you see things going. You don't know if it's necessarily true or not, right? So what I do personally, is I avoid all that, and we just created algorithms, and they're based on momentum, price angles, where it is in a channel and seasonality, and I just let math do the work for me. Math will confuse you a lot less than the news will. And so, our track record is 65% win rate. We win more. We have what's called a positive profit factor. And that means when we win more with more money than we lose money. So you're constantly, if you just even follow just the trades we put out every day, equal weight over time, you can't help but make money. And all our trades are on the website, so you can just check them out anytime you want.
So I ask people to go to tradewithlionel.com right here, which is the easiest way to get started. And once they do, I like it. There are levels of involvement, Bob, that you allow people to enjoy. Earlier, kind of toe in the water, chat rooms, more aggressive, learning, people who are novices, people who are experienced. It doesn't matter. You have a program and a platform and a package that will be amenable to whatever people need. And also, it's fun and it's quick and it's fluid and it's dynamic. And it depends upon how much you want to commit to it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, all what you said is true, and you can just commit 2 hours a day. The first 2 hours of the trading day is really where the most action is, and then you could just shut it down. You could day trade in our group. You can swing trade. You can trade options. You can trade crypto. My forte is I'm a short swing trader, although I can do everything. So I like to be in trades where I can be in basically 2 to 5 days. Take my money, run, and look for the next opportunity. But some people like to day trade. Our algorithms work for that. Some people love to trade crypto. I have a partner that does nothing but crypto, and you used to be a former miner of Bitcoin, so nobody knows the space better than he does. And he gives long, short recommendations on Bitcoin. People like crypto but don't want to have cryptocurrency. You can trade the ETFs that are available. I trade those, and I share those right now. In fact, we're short Bitcoin right now, for a short-term period of time. Our algorithms say going into March is a seasonally weak period for Bitcoin, especially in a halving year. So we're positioned short for that move that we expect. In fact, it looks like it started today. And so those are the kind of things that we do. And once you join, it doesn't matter if you have a large amount of money or a small amount of money, you just scale your size, is that day one, you can actually start taking trades, and it probably takes 3 or 4 months to really get the swing of things. learn the lingo. There's a certain language to trading that's different than common English. And so once you understand that, everything slows down. You're like a second year quarterback in the NFL versus a rookie. You start seeing things in the beginning, your head spinning, So a lot of times when people are new, they just like kind of take the trades that we
Right.
throw out there, and then they get more sophisticated, and then people actually bring me trades, in the room. So people get pretty good at this. We've had some people since I've started still trading with us.
Bob, what are some of the mistakes that people should avoid at all costs that you see people do on a regular basis? If there's one rule, just give me one number one rule that people should avoid at all, other than not going to trade with Lionel.com, but something that you see people consistently do that they just shouldn't.
Well, there's three things. One is that the worst thing that can happen to you is your first trade, you make a lot of money, because then you think it's easy, and then you overtrade it, or you trade with too much size relative to your portfolio, where you can't sustain a loss. It's number one. Number two is what we call fear of missing out. Like today, natural gas stocks ripping, so we started trimming into that. Newbie traders will be buying into that, and then they're going to get caught in a pullback. Pullbacks are natural, but they're going to get stopped out. They're going to lose money, and they're going to see it run again. So it's called fear of missing out. And the third thing is that people don't set stops. So what a stop is, that if you buy something, you have to say, at what price point, if I'm wrong, am I willing to stop taking the pain? And sometimes people will ride their portfolios down to insignificance because they just wouldn't take a small pain. They take a larger pain. And, you understand that being a lawyer, it's game theory, right? So, hey, do you want us to settle with me now, or you want to take the risk of a big loss, right? So, lawyers know people will rather settle for a known loss versus a unknown larger loss, even though they may win. And so the same goes in trading. Take your known loss, get on your horse, and take the next trade versus, hoping and praying. So those are things that people mostly do wrong. And the other thing too is I would say is, over time, just you have to know your style and your risk. A lot of people get in trouble because they take too much risk, and then they get too risk adverse, and they're like, oh, this stuff doesn't work for me. Have a plan going in and be conservative. And once you get your groove, there's some of our clients only trade one stock because they just understand it so well. So you don't have to trade the whole stock market. You don't have to go out there chasing every watch list out there. Right now, we're focused on energy. We're focused on shorting tech,
Right.
and that's the play. And then we're going to be going and shorting Bitcoin because of the seasonality. So we then see our seasonality, see our algorithm, take the trade, move on. You go into April, the market's going down now. Going into April is usually the best month of the year for trading. Alongside,
Why is that? Why?
They trade first quarter, usually get a sell off because they reset the expectations for the year with earnings and stuff like that. And then the second quarter comes in, and then things aren't as bad as they thought it was going to be, and so they start lifting the market up again. So that usually goes, and volatility gets huge in March and gets huge again in September. Volatility goes up. Risk managers have to bring the stock prices, the risk, how much risk they take down, that drives prices down. So, you typically, people usually, you short MLK and you go long Easter, and then you kind of short Labor Day, and you get long, Halloween. Trying to figure out, I'm not a kid anymore, I'm trying to figure out the holiday, and then.
Well, you're a kid at heart. You know
Yeah.
what's interesting, Bob? Whenever we talk, I always learn so much. It's strategy, it's psychology, it's emotion. You're always telling this isn't gambling. This isn't like, hit it, baby needs a new pair of shoes. It's focused, it's learned, it's tactics, strategy. It's so interesting. And also, you're watching what's happening. You're not looking down. You're not merely reading the instrument panel, but you're kind of looking around as well. You're saying, what's happening here? Let me adjust to, I'm making it sound very, very pie in the sky because I have a brilliant talent for distilling things into exactly what it is, because that's what this is. You're sitting back and you're taking all of the factors, all the data, the algorithms, and you're minimizing risk and you're playing it smart. And that's why you're the best. And you know that. And I can say that because you're a very modest person, but you're simply the best. You can handle and accommodate any particular level of activity or involvement or investing. You're the best. Again, I'm going to say tradewithlionel.com. Is there a phone number in case somebody were to call and they mention, well, we'll have that in our information here, but in case somebody calls up and says, I don't know what that was. I heard Bob and Lionel talk. All they have to do is mention Lionel, correct?
Yeah, so 1-800-949-1408. If you come in, we always ask you where did you hear from us? And then you want to definitely give Lionel's name so we can give him credit and give you the discount. So the discounts we have on our site normally have expiration dates, but if you tell them you came from Lionel, we always honor the discount
Excellent.
that we have with him. So always mention where you come from and make sure that Lionel gets credit for it. We like to support his channel.
Yes, indeed. Now, by the way, Bob, last words of advice, something that somebody who say, well, give me the sell, that one thing that'll make people just salivate, some bit of information or something that you anticipate coming up that's going to be very exciting or very catastrophic. Can work that way as well.
I would say, if somebody is looking, this is probably the best ROI of your time that you can have. I mean, what other job can you do where you're in a Marine Corps t-shirt, sitting at home, going to go for a walk after this interview's over. I already made my money for the week, and you get to enjoy a great lifestyle. You put the work in for a couple months, you hone your skills, you understand the toolkit, and you can build yourself up into a nice piece of wealth. I will say though, and I always have to do this disclaimer, is that I am not the Lamborghini guy. Okay, this is a process that over 3 or 4 years you can turn this into a way of making a living if you follow the rules. So that's the advice I would give. I love it. I'm a picture person. I'm a person that likes to see the future, and you can't get any better than this. Every day is different, so you can't get bored trading because yesterday is not tomorrow. Some jobs, you're just grinding the same crap every day. Every day there's something new here. So it's a great lifestyle if you can figure it. And if it's not a lifestyle for you, we have a lot of people at work. It's just a nice way to supplement your income, or also to check off on your investment advisor, like, why aren't they recommending energy to you right now? Did they have the same data I do? Why aren't they overweighting energy into the spring? So a lot of those guys use formulas that are not seasonal formulas. They're age and risk adjusted formulas, because they don't want to get sued. But that doesn't mean they're still producing a good fiduciary for you, because
right.
They should be advising you. If they're advisors, they should be advising you, say, hey, this period of time is a window of weakness in the market, is a window of strength. We should do some adjusting, but they don't do that. They're all sitting together because we protect it. So, you need to know these things so you can go to your advisor and say, hey, why aren't we in these names now? Or why are we in these names now? So our service has a lot of, educational aspects to it. So we love it. And, our record speaks for itself.
That's why you're the best. That's why you're the best. Bob Kudla from a Trade Genius, and also tradewithlionel.com, tradewithlionel.com. All of the information is contained below. Bob Kudla, as always, my great and dear friend, thank you so much. We will talk again, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Indeed.